Good evening, everybody. It is 7 p.m. Today is Thursday, May 16th, 2024. We will call this meeting of the Bristol Town Council to order. Start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. Mike, would you like to lead us tonight?
Absolutely, thank you. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. On the roll call, start to my left. Doug Smith. Here. Dean Renfro. Here. Kathy Burke.
Here.
Rick Polsky.
Here.
Off to my right, Town Manager Mike Yoder.
Here.
Deputy Clerk Treasurer, Assistant Town Manager Jill Swartz.
Here, present.
Legal Counsel Alex Bowman. Here. Town Marshal Mike Alvin. Here. And in the back, Fire Chief Nick Cantz. That's my kick tonight?
Just good.
Okay. Just. Well, I was thinking the other side. Kid.
Just
Okay.
James.
Okay. Right.
Poor Denny.
Welcome.
Well, he's usually in a blue shirt, so that's fine. Okay, approval of the agenda. Anybody had a chance to review the agenda?
Yeah.
Evening's agenda.
Yes.
Can I add one thing under town marshal for D, staff change?
Yes. D for staff change. Okay. Thank you for that. Any other changes, corrections, additions?
Nope.
Okay, if not, it will stand as corrected or stand as added. Approval of the invoices. Everybody had a chance to look at the bills?
Yes.
Anybody have any questions on the invoices?
No.
Nope.
Okay. Not, is there a motion?
I make a motion, we approve the invoices.
Okay, motion by Kathy. Second by Craig. Open for discussion. No further discussion. I'll take a vote. Doug Smith.
Yes.
Dean Renfro.
Yep.
Kathy Burke.
Yes.
Craig Dolsky.
Yes.
And Jeff Beach is yes. Motion carries. Next item, approval of the previous month's minutes. We've got April 18th, April 25th, and May 2nd. Right, chance to review those minutes?
Yes.
Okay. A motion to approve those three sets of minutes.
To make a motion, we approve the minutes from April 18th, April 25, and May 2nd.
Okay, motion by Dean,
I'll second.
second by Doug. Open for discussion. No further discussion. I'll take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Dean Renfro,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes.
Rick Dolsky.
Yes.
And Jeff Beach is yes. Motion carries. Okay, planning and development items. Elkhart County CVB staff.
Terry is here tonight, ask for some time.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. I'm Terry Mark. I'm the Director of Communications and Public Relations at the Elkhart County Convention and Visitors Bureau, and it's my honor to be here tonight to speak to you. I'm here to inform you and to announce that we are launching the 17th year of the quilt gardens and quilt murals along the Heritage Trail. It's really, we consider it one of Elkhart County's signature events. It brings thousands of visitors to Elkhart County every year to see the gardens and then to experience all the best that Elkhart County has to offer: shops, tourist attractions, restaurants, and we're very appreciative of the town council's support and the town manager's office. We couldn't do this without volunteers from throughout the community who plant, weed, water, maintain the gardens through from opening day, May 30th through September 15th. And as you can tell by how I'm dressed, plant delivery day was this morning. Fairgrounds. And that's the day when most of the 13 gardens throughout Elkhart County receive their plants. Some of them were planting today, others will do so over the next few days. Here in Bristol, at the Historical Museum, the Burst of Joy Garden, I'm told will be planted on Tuesday. And then there will also be quilt murals. The Starry Night mural will be this year on the side of the Bristol Opera House. And then the Trapunto and Applique mural will be at the Bonneville Mill up there. So it's important, it's interesting that the timing of this, I mean, it's our timing every year, but next week, May 19th to 25th is National Travel and Tourism Week. And that's when destinations large and small, including us, talk about the importance of tourism and what it brings to Elkhart County. And just here in Bristol, I'm sure you're all very well aware of things like Bonneville Mill, the Historical Museum, the downtown businesses, and the businesses that generate business from the rivers in this town. So it's not just good vibes, though. I mean, although we all enjoy these amenities, there's a real economic return on investment. Our research shows that annually, visitors to Elkhart County create $700 million in annual economic impact. And that workers who are employed in tourism and hospitality businesses earn nearly $150 million in wages. And so this is money that comes from outside the community that's spent at hotels, lodging properties, restaurants, shops, and then gets reinvested by the businesses who earn that revenue back into their own businesses and to their employees, and then also through taxes to benefit us all. So we appreciate your support and hope that you will continue to support. And we're looking forward to a great summer. And we hope that you at least spend part of your summer enjoying some of the wonderful amenities we have here in Elkhart County. As a token of our appreciation, I brought for each of you a journal. They have two designs. The green one has our corporate logo, We Believe in Here. And the gray one features the well-crafted Elkhart County destination brand. And so hope you enjoy those and hope you agree with us that Bristol is well-crafted. So thank you.
One quick question.
Yes.
Several years ago, Jill got a jade plant from you guys and wasn't able to keep it alive. Any chance you still have some?
I have one still.
Oh, okay.
We were just talking about
It's a really neat thing.
that's true.
And she had a tough time with hers.
Well, I have no idea where mine is.
The secret to that
It was the
is
heating
water.
system, Jill.
Well,
Yeah.
I like to razz Jill about it. I saved it for
You still have it.
her.
But anyhow, yes, that was a lovely gift.
Well,
Well, we can talk later, Joe.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
thank you,
Thank
Terry.
you very
Appreciate the presentation tonight. Thank you for coordinating the gardens. I know a lot of people stop by. It's not uncommon to see busloads of people, see tourist buses stop in and you see 15, 20 people get off and take pictures. So
Yeah.
it's nice to see. It's nice to get people into town. So
Absolutely. It's very popular with bus groups and
Yeah.
we get a lot of repeat visitors from all over the Midwest and all over the country coming here to Elkhart County.
yeah, and they do have the murals up already.
Yeah.
It's up on the side of the Opera House already.
Great. I think it's a rolling process. Some have already been published. I know the one at our visitor center is not up yet, so.
Yeah,
That one's been up all week.
yeah, it's been up, we noticed it, Kathleen noticed it there last Friday maybe.
Mhm.
It was, I seen it Saturday morning. I
Yeah.
Just happened to look up, like, oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Great.
Well, thank you again, Terry. Okay, next on the list, Janice Terry, a request for amendments on the ordinance to house additional chickens.
Yeah, so this is our first variance on our new chicken ordinance.
Okay.
Janice is here tonight Jeff, if you want to pull up the packet, is her specific request
Okay,
and some additional information. I did ask her to get signatures from her adjacent neighbors, and she did do that. So they are okay with expanding the chicken operation. So Janice is here. I'll let her explain what she's up to and then you guys can decide what you want to do.
okay.
All right, so never thought I'd be a chicken, honestly, like dogs, cats, sure. Last year I called and asked, can we have chickens? And it was right when you were doing the vote for chickens.
Yeah.
So I was one of the first adopters of chickens and I called about maybe 2 months ago and asked if, we had all 10, I think there were 10 permits allotted, used up, and he said there were 3. So I said, well, can I have more chickens? Because what's the worst he could say? No, you know, like, oh, okay, fine. And he said, well, write up a proposal. I said, well, how many chickens should I ask for? He said, I don't care, put a number, and then we'll just go from there. So
I need to kind of dial down the nice guy thing, don't you? Maybe just a little.
initially I was just gonna do 12. Okay, and specifically for eggs. I have 6 right now that are laying eggs, and with teenagers and the chicken's not laying an egg every single day all year long, it doesn't provide for all of our egg needs to have 6 chickens. So I would like to expand because I'm taking a complete dive into self-sufficiency. And I'm trying to do everything that I can to provide everything we eat on our property. So,
Okay. So the request is for up to 30 chickens?
yes, so not a permanent flock size of 30. You know, chickens age, they die just like people do. So, you know, I would get new chickens periodically, but I would also like to be able to have meat birds. So there's a difference. You can have one or the other or a combo. And so I would like to be able to raise them, but not process them because our ordinance says no processing. I already have arranged for that off-site. So, yeah.
What's the address?
I'm sorry. 508 North.
Oh.
So it's right at Division and Trout Creek, right?
Oh, yeah, you know, it's been hit by a car twice, so
Yep.
you can't miss it.
Yeah. It's the house that Jeff Chubb refurbished.
Oh, it used to be the chop house.
Used to be
Yes.
Urbanics.
It was the Urbanics, yeah.
Chicken
Oh,
farm.
It was the chicken farm, exactly. The
Chicken farm
train
years
is
ago.
still in the garage.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah,
Yes, that was a tale at Easter that my grandpa told after we moved in. He was like, oh, that's where we used to take our chickens for slaughter. So, yeah. I was like, that makes sense. There's a drain in the garage. Okay. We wondered why that was there.
your grandpa was on the fire department when the chicken farm burned down too.
Well, I'm not trying to process anything.
Long time ago.
Okay. Thoughts?
Yeah, I'm just, yeah, where it is.
Right there.
Oh, okay, so it is Chuck's house.
You're old enough, Kathy, it's Urbanics.
No, it was Chuck's.
I grew up with it as chubs.
Me too.
I played in the house as a little girl.
That was Jamie White.
I was friends with the White family, so I know.
Jamie White.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jane White lived next door, down the
We'll
street.
do that. Okay, so I'm zooming here.
Now, none of these are for selling, right? Just
No.
all strictly,
Yeah.
isn't that an honor
These
that
are
you don't dare sell
these are
eggs or anything?
my chickens.
Okay.
No, these are my chickens. I'm trying to have meat that isn't raised in a building with no joy in its life.
So this property right here.
That would be cool.
And and I called and asked originally because we were planning on upgrading our ladies and the coop. My husband took his shot at building a coop last year and he did a great job. Seriously, winging a prayer. But we were like, you know what? We'll upgrade them a little bit. We decided we wanted to relocate where we have them right now. So we actually just got some custom coop delivered that matches the house.
I think you may have a picture of that coop in your packet.
Okay.
Really?
Custom coop by the
Oh,
people down the road. Yep,
Oh, guess not.
that's not it.
That's not,
I had it in there. I apologize.
Well, mine-
See it.
Okay.
Yeah, pictures of the coop.
I meant for
I have a
it.
picture. If you'd like. But, yeah, white.
Okay, so
looks like that.
right now, the ordinance allows for 10, correct?
6,
Six.
yes.
And you want to go to 30?
Not a permanent size of 30. Like, I'd like to have between 15 and 20 on a regular basis, closer to 15, really. It just kind of depends on if all of the birds that I have end up being good egg layers or not. So that's why I asked for a little bit of flexibility.
Yeah.
But if that's not available, that's okay too.
They're not an egg layer, did they become a meat bird?
So all the birds that I have purchased are dual purpose. It's,
If they don't lay eggs, they become meat chickens.
I have three
Not too
that are
big.
only egg birds that my dad called last year and was like, my boss is getting rid of like 80 pullets. Do you want 3? And I was like, oh, sure, 3 eggs.
Anybody have concerns?
The only question I might have is, but if you have as many as 30, I mean, I've done a lot of chicken crap out of barns, and
The smell.
do you have
I work from home full time. So,
I mean, you got a way of getting rid of it
oh,
off-site?
like I compost.
Oh, okay.
So it's all buckets, lids, broken down, added to compost.
That was the only thing I was,
Yeah.
after a while, you get pretty good ammonia
If
smell.
it smelled, he would not. We would not be having this discussion.
Smelly chickens are now meat chickens.
Yeah, he'd be like, we're done, I'm not doing this anymore, it's terrible,
Yeah,
so,
that'd be the only thing I was concerned about, was getting rid of the manure. That'd be the only thing.
yeah, no,
I'm good with 15. I'm not sure if I'm good with 20, and I understand the fluctuation. My aunt used to have chicken farm, so, you know,
Yeah.
I realize you have to get some new ones in as the other ones get older and all of that. I don't. Yeah,
it's not a permanent amount of 30, like, I would never have like,
I understand that.
so I did 30, that way I could do like a dozen meat birds. Because we don't eat a ton, and one chicken can be many meals, right, so.
It's just what I think. I don't know what do you other guys think.
I think 30 is a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of birds.
You know, we're opening a can of worms for all the other people that already have 6.
Yeah, yeah. And then the people that have chickens but don't have the permit. Which
Mhm.
Randy's working on that.
Please don't judge me by those who have not followed the rules.
Right.
If I hazard to open this door, and I hazard to be the web link,
Oh, go ahead.
but if I may raise at least a procedural concern for the council to consider.
Mhm.
The process for the chicken ordinance is for, chicken ordinance, chapter 94, has a prohibition on the possession of chickens on property within the town of Bristol unless it's on parcel it's zoned to permit it otherwise, or if there's a permit that is issued, right? That's the framework. So there's a prohibition except if limited circumstance. The ordinance by itself says the number of chickens is limited to 6, right? And the concern I raise is because there is an express prohibition, save for the exception. The permit that has been issued is for 6. The request would be for the town to authorize, to amend the permit to permit more than what the ordinance provides for. So my concern there being, I'm not certain that the council has the authority under this ordinance to now say, we're gonna go ahead and ignore the 6 that we've adopted into the code and permit any number above 6, not 30, not 15, not 12, whatever the request may be reasonable. It's not clear to me that it's expressly permitted by the ordinance. So the procedural issue I raise is, there may need to be an amendment to the ordinance to provide for this type of variance, because I don't think it's contemplated in the way the ordinance is.
Correct.
An
Seems
ordinance.
like a your legal counsel to write that in.
Oh, flexibility in the ordinance.
We gotta give you some.
Yeah, it's, and part of the reason I think that that's a,
That's just a mic and don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You just shoot one over the bow.
It's mild.
one of the reasons that, I would argue that there isn't currently that flexibility is,
Why?
there's a penalty associated with this. There's someone who violates the number of possession, the town can assess a fine against an individual. And so that's where I think when we talk about the authority of the town to exert its police power to find individuals violating an ordinance, I think we get into a dicey situation if we by vote permit amendments to permits that would otherwise expressly violate the terms of the ordinance.
Right.
So procedurally, would our course of action be amend the ordinance
We'd have to amend the ordinance.
Correct.
and then,
To adopt a variance procedure.
Yes,
essentially,
yeah,
that would
yeah.
permit a landowner, a permit holder to be able to come before the council and say, here's my ask.
Yeah.
And I think from I think that would be appropriate from not only a due process standpoint, but from a position of town to exert its police power. Because that's what it's doing here.
And
Okay.
there was a reason why in the ordinance, we set it at 6.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And
To your
Yeah.
point,
it
Yeah.
was concern of the town, I mean, the neighbors, and I understand you got permission.
well, and that's any ordinance, particularly the chicken ordinance, because this is cutting edge stuff.
Yep.
Right? This is laboratory democracy kind of idea here, that there's a process that's contemplated here for neighboring landowners to sign off and to be involved in the process. That may need to be duplicated in a variance procedure, because at this point,
Yeah.
it's just, something over 6 isn't contemplated.
Right.
okay,
So I treat this like a zoning ordinance, which has a variance process.
But it's not,
Yes,
it's
it's
an
not.
ordinance word.
Correct, because it's not at least in this context, isn't a zoning issue per se. This is an express permit that's issued by the town with enforcement.
More like a law.
Correct, it
It's a
would be,
law instead of a use.
correct.
usage.
A loose analogy would be seeking a variance or seeking a permit to avoid a stop sign that the
Yeah.
town is otherwise.
Okay,
ordained.
so for Janice and for Randy, who is very much where there's more chickens there than what are allowed, I think council needs to give some direction to Randy and our attorney. So is the intent to create a variance process? And if so, then we can alert Randy to say she has a grace period of however long it takes us to get it done.
how many do you currently have?
I hate to ask, but are you in violation now?
So right now I only have 6 egg laying hens as the ordinance permits. So I have 10 that are baits. I have 6 egg laying hens. So
Okay.
I had emailed this beginning of last month
Right.
and miscommunications.
So you
So-
do have 16 chickens at this point.
I do, yes,
Okay,
I do.
okay,
Has been-
He has, yes, and so I had called him, left a voicemail for mine. And then I got cited, and so I immediately called Randy and said, I talked to Mike a couple times, I left a voicemail a couple weeks ago, like I emailed him this thing, I've talked to my neighbor, I crossed my T's, dotted my I's as far as I knew. What did I do wrong? And he was like, call me. So
Yeah.
I called
I'll
Mike.
talk to Randy, so
Okay.
he's aware this is happening.
So he's okay with the limbo.
so why don't we,
Shouldn't be, shouldn't be.
why don't we go next course of action, Alex, if you can take a stab at amending the ordinance for a variance process.
We do that.
And then let's write it so that the variance has to describe what is being requested. Obviously, Janice is asking for up to 30. Some people may say, I just want 8. I don't want 30, I just want 8.
Sure.
So allow it to be written specific to each request.
Certainly.
I don't wanna box ourselves in a corner to say that the variance process is up to 10 chickens or what. Just leave that open-ended.
Sure.
And let the requester request however many they want. And then we can base our decision on the variance request per person.
So the ordinance will
Yeah.
say 6, basically.
Yeah, the
Well,
ordinance,
the issue right
the
now is
ordinance says 6.
we're gonna be setting a precedent, and you're gonna have everybody in here that has chickens. are gonna want it.
Well, but it's only 3. right?
3.
Yeah.
3 leaves.
But so until
And I'm
that,
one of them.
until that happens, what about the extra 10 that you've got?
Well, they don't lay any eggs.
Yeah, but they're chickens.
Yes, they are chickens.
Still violates the ordinance.
Yeah,
Right, so like I said, I
Yeah, I think that we
was
just say,
real
till we get, it won't take us long to get this done.
yeah,
And
yeah. So,
The amendment can be pretty quickly prepared.
Yeah.
And one of the criteria, the neighbors need to say yes.
Right.
They need to say yes to this.
yeah, and I think that needs to be part of the variance request as well, which that happens with any variance in the county as well.
Neighbors, but yeah.
Yeah.
And also, just because you're aware Randy's black and white sometimes, maybe just let him know that.
Yeah.
There is this grace period, because
Yeah,
I don't know him on her.
right.
No.
No, Randy and I are cool.
Okay.
We're
Yeah,
good.
I've talked to Randy. He's aware of the process, so I'll talk with him again,
Okay.
let him know what to decide.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
question.
Ordinance,
Is there,
do we have a coop size in the ordinance?
So,
I think
I can
that,
do
you know, that you can't have 15 stall.
Yeah, there's
Chicken gotta take
there's
more
a
than
square
6.
footage.
Yes.
there's a minimum.
Well, that would have to be a variance also.
2 square feet per, 2 square feet of area per chicken.
So if you have, the problem is, and then it grows, has to grow to 60 if you got 30 chickens.
Correct.
Right, but 60 square feet really isn't that big, it's
No,
6
it's
by 10.
But yes, you're correct.
We have 80 square feet in the coop right now, it's an 8 by 10 coop.
okay,
So,
Okay.
so yeah, let's go ahead and get that variance process started.
Okay.
In the meantime, we'll give you the grace period
I appreciate
for the extra 10.
Don't kill the baby chicks.
that. Oh, God, are you kidding me? I said, you're a farmer, why would you say that?
Because he's a farmer.
Yeah, but the meat, the black and white of the law, she's got 6 chicks too many.
10 chicks too many.
10 chicks too many.
Okay, so yeah,
Okay.
let's, yeah. You start.
I don't know. I'm on drugs, look at.
Now I understand.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, thank you, Janice. Okay, next reports, Mike.
All right, town manager, I'd like to move my A to the last, and let's start with the Commerce Drive sign. So we do have updated proposals, which we can work through tonight, although as I've looked at these, there may be enough changes that I'd like to recommend that a couple of us get together with Eric, Street Department, and maybe review these in detail and come back with a recommendation.
Okay,
Just to make sure we're looking at all the materials and all the proposals more closely than what we might hear, unless you want to spend quite a bit of time tonight doing this. So we have the top 3 proposals, and so that was number 3. The one at the top, the change that's been made there that lowered the price is the base is now in aluminum instead of concrete. So that lowered the cost.
did we verify
Lighting.
lighting on number 102?
Yes, that will now be lit. All the letters will be lit.
So that's why that price went up, I assume.
It's reasonable price.
What was that original price?
39, so
Right.
30, go down to the next one.
Yeah, the next
30,
one.
39.
There's the new one.
Oh, went to 44.9.
Yeah,
And he shows the night view on the.
Okay,
the night view, where is it?
Right there in the little box.
Oh, that's, okay. Oh, that's, see, now that's better.
okay,
I still like one.
So all of these, if we sell all the spots, are well within the money that we set aside for the sign. So all of these are affordable. It's just a
Okay.
matter of deciding on the exact design you want and the materials.
okay. So are you suggesting we put together a,
Yeah, if a couple of you want to volunteer, I'll schedule a time and we'll go through it in detail.
anybody else?
I'll volunteer.
Okay,
Great.
My recommendation would be 2 or less.
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
agreed. So,
I thought of that. What are you gonna say?
Sorry.
Sure. If you do one, as long as it's not on Tuesday.
All right.
I will if you don't want to.
No, I can,
Okay,
as long as they don't schedule on Tuesday.
that's, but Dean and Greg will
All right.
represent us.
Okay, we'll try to have a recommendation by the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay, next up, Satellite Industries, CF1, and our recommendation is you approve this as substantially compliant because it is actually more than substantially compliant.
Yeah,
Quite a bit more.
yeah,
Pretty impressive.
yeah. Okay.
And what about the end of this abatement as well? You think? Oh, this is the last year, next year, but
Great. They've got all their paperwork in, everything's fine and.
Yep.
Great.
Okay. So is there a motion to approve the CF1 submission for Satellite Industries?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, there's a motion by Doug,
I'll second it.
second by Dean, open for discussion.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, if you, if
They've been a great company. and
they've been a
they've-
really good company,
They've
I don't know.
donated things to the town.
Oh, yeah, they.
Not sure if anybody else went to the open house they had. But I know Jill and Mike did, it's an impressive company. They are really, really good. Partner with the town. Their employees love them. Their facilities look great, they're very clean, very neat. So yeah, I'm very happy with what they've done in town.
Anytime we've needed anything for our Johns, they've donated to us, toilet holders, all that stuff. So seats, whatever we needed, they give it to us.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
bill.
That's my nephew works in.
Okay. Any other discussion?
No.
Now we'll take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Dean Renfro,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes.
Greg Dolsky.
Yes.
And Jeff Eads, yes, motion carries.
Okay, very good. Next up, we have a proclamation honoring the life of Wendell Schaefer. For you to consider tonight.
Okay, so we all received the email
Mhm.
from Mr. Schaefer's daughter. I asked Mike to pen this proclamation, so. Anybody have any questions?
No.
If not, is there a motion to approve the proclamation?
I make a motion, we approve that proclamation for Wendell Schaefer.
Okay, motion by Dean,
I'll second.
second by Doug, open for discussion. No further discussion, we'll take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Dean Renfro.
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes.
Greg Dolsky.
Yes.
And Jeff Eads, yes, motion carries.
Are you planning to deliver that, Jeff?
Yeah. I'll drop it off at the funeral home tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, Deb asked if we could drop it off there.
Okay. All right, last up, some report, some of our activities. An NDOT our local NDOT representative stopped in and talked with Jill, I was out of the office. And what date is this intersection improvement going to happen? At
August of this year.
August of this year. So what they're proposing to do is do some major repair work on the intersection at Brgistol and Division, which will involve partial closure of the bridge perhaps. This is crazy because next year they're doing a total redo of the intersection. So I don't understand this at all. So I reached out to Todd Johnson and said, are you aware of what you're doing here? So we'll see. We don't need another distraction this year, along with the water main, plus the big distraction.
It'll be a 2-day project,
Today,
but it should not interfere with emergency vehicles. He did affirm that. You might have to wait a second, but he said it wouldn't delay.
So
And then tear it back out.
they're talking major improvements, is that you said?
They're
enough
You're
to
gonna-
close the bridge, absolutely. I mean,
They're
it's,
gonna do the east side and then they'll do the west side of it. Yeah, the
So
eastbound lane and then west.
how long?
days.
One day be eastbound and then the next day be the westbound.
So they must be grinding and relaying some asphalt just to rip it all out next year.
I questioned the
I
exact
was gonna
same.
say, how major of an improvement can it be if they've got 2 days slug? That's not a lot of time.
So you're not taking curves and.
Just the
lights and all that?
intersection.
Yeah.
It's
Here's
in
an
that.
idea, save that money and put a light in down at Louisville.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go. Amen.
well, it couldn't be any
Well,
different than the turn lane that we got
Speaking of
out here.
lights.
Sorry, didn't mean to segue you.
That was perfect. So I've been in some early discussions with the streetlight vendor that we looked at. He now has a set of plans for Brgistol Street and Division Street from DLZ for the NDOT project. And he'll be getting us, first of all, we need locations of where the new lights need to be as compared to the old lights. I'm asking him to locate lights along Division Street as well, so if we can afford it, we can do that as part of this project, or we may need to phase it in later, but we want to put the infrastructure in. We want the basis there. So NDOT's pressuring us, and this is another humorous thing in my mind. They really need something done because soon, in the next week, because we need to start on a legal document, which I will have our legal expert help me on. They are drafting this, and they're concerned about getting this legal document done by October 10th. This is only May. And all this will do is lay out who is paying what for, who's paying for what. And we've already agreed to the basics, which is they pay for the foundations for the new lights and the conduit for the electric, and that's it. Only on this street. So everything else is ours. Conduit for fiber will be our expense.
Okay.
I did remind them that the only logical and common sense detour for all the state road projects are local town streets in which they are not paying us for the use of this. We are not being compensated for that.
Is that because 13 is available and so is
Yeah,
20? Yeah, that's what I
Because
figured.
13's available.
Yeah.
And there'll be times that I don't think you can use a state road to get to where, to some of our businesses. So, I mean, they're really locked into using the streets.
Yeah.
So I just gently reminded them of everything that Mike Yoder and the town of Bristol is getting. Again, nice guy thing.
Did it make a difference?
I don't know. I heard back from Todd. Yeah.
We're waiting.
Yeah. It's in depth.
Now, Todd was, I did, and I know, Mike, you're aware of this as well, but the state police were parked out here and stopping mobile homes using. So I called NDOT and I said, listen, the drivers want to use that route. We want them using that route. Can we fix this? And Todd said, well, yeah, that'll be easy. And I got a phone call the next day, said, yeah, we ought to be able to work this out. So I think we're going to get that fixed where our local street will be part of their approved route instead of having to use the state road.
I won't get into the discussion that the state trooper that does that, and I had, I think I'll leave it at this. We are having multiple violations, and I mean, multiple major, what they call out of service violations going through our community. And he is very adamant about getting a lot of that corrected. And he is considering, the state police is considering approaching the town and proposing that. So I'm just gonna leave it at that for now.
So we don't really want those on this street. We want those on Bloomingdale and Ponderosa. So it's a matter of getting all everybody on the same page, I think, from my simplistic view anyways. So NDOT seemed to be agreeable.
I'll have him come in and speak if you,
Okay.
if your council's willing to hear. It's an interesting thing. Let's leave it at that.
He, the state trooper, or NDOT?
No, the state police and their take on DOT. And
Okay.
this is the DOT inspector.
Okay.
Oh.
So this is more like the excise as opposed to,
This is the state police DOT, which is what you would maybe think. It's excise is alcohol. This is your.
oh, yeah.
They used to have a division when what's his name was here, they did away with it, now the troopers are doing it.
Well, no, there's still, he is the DOT officer.
But I
I
mean,
say they still have,
they didn't do like, what's his name, he wasn't a trooper, he was strictly DOT.
And this guy is the same way as Bill was.
Oh, really?
Yes.
The guy with the Dodge pickup?
He is only DOT. He does nothing but DOT.
Oh.
And he has scales in his vehicle, everything.
oh, wow.
Yeah, cause I watched him scale one right in front of my house the other day, so I couldn't get a mail.
Yeah. He'll tell you sorry.
So, yeah, and to end on some really positive, and for me, exciting news, 2 weeks ago, I mentioned in a meeting that I was becoming somewhat bored in Bristol when it came to economic development. There's nothing. We had a lot of activity in March, a lot of people talking, and then everything died towards about mid-April. And then this week, everything picked up again. So we are in the next, well, starting tomorrow morning, well, it started yesterday, actually, met with landowners, developers, and we are looking at some potentially significant new commercial development in town. Jill and I are meeting, following up with the second meeting now on landowners that want to build residential.
Nice.
That's
Two
great.
locations. So that's pretty exciting too. And the alcohol, new alcohol store that was proposed for where the restaurant
Restaurant.
used to be, they kind of disappeared for a while. He called this week and he says, hey, we're getting ready to start building. And so he bought that lot and the lot to the east from the owner. And I actually talked with the contractor today that was trying to lay out where the driveways would go. So that project is moving forward as well. And we apparently will be receiving some sort of a plan for initial street construction onto Abby Thomas's property, starting at industrial and moving east.
Okay.
So that will be happening this year as well. All super, super good news.
Good.
So it will be busy for us.
Marty must be backing down as he's planting.
Well, forever the optimist, you know. Put the seed in the ground.
Plant the other day. Oh, well.
Yeah, they hit the pause button right now. He's just not ready to retire yet. That's fine. That's fine.
And bushels of corn are cheap, they can put a road through.
Yeah.
He's got beans in there. That's why he.
Yeah, for sure. When it comes to those projects, paying the farmer for that.
Yeah.
Pretty minimal. So anyways, that's hopefully maybe in 30 days, we'll have some other news on the Brown Farm and activity out that way as well. That's part of the meetings the next 2 weeks.
I heard part of that was sold or bought,
The Brown Farm?
where the house was. From what I would understand, Belmont bought that. They bought the Amish guy's house.
I'll have to call and find out.
Find out because I was told 2 days ago by the father of the boy that owns it, that they paid him an offer and he took it.
I knew
Guy
that
that
was
had all the
close.
vibration
I can
problems.
say no more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I heard they bought
that
it.
doesn't solve the problem.
No,
but-
they bought
It solves it for.
It eliminates the complaint.
it. Yeah.
Well, and, you know, I hope you got it. I hope you got a really good set. They deserved it.
I heard it was pretty fair.
But,
I heard it was pretty fair.
well, they were about to go to court, so it was settled.
But yeah, check it out and see, but it was the guy's father told me that they bought him out.
Okay. Very good. And that's all I have, unless there are other questions.
Okay.
I have a question. There was something on the Facebook page about this tick mosquito stuff that you guys did this week. Are you also going to do the aerial, or have you not read the Facebook page?
I've read.
Everybody is upset about the fact.
Well, a couple folks are.
Well,
There's also a lot of folks that are
not
very
from what
happy.
I'm hearing.
So if you want to spend the extra $6,000 to do aerial, we can do that,
How much was it for the other?
$2,300.
Okay, but the
Well-
problem is you're going to do that just in the parks. What about all the standing water around everywhere else that has mosquitoes in town? And that's why we decided to spray to begin with. And as far as I'm concerned, I mean, I knew nothing about this in advance. And people were hitting me with it, calling me and saying, hey, what's going on? We're gonna have nothing but mayflies and mosquitoes through town, but the parks will be fine.
I thought we went over Mosquito Joe in the meeting at one time. Oh, I know we did.
Yeah, you guys were aware we were doing this instead of aerial.
I didn't
You
know
may
it
not
was
remember.
instead of.
Yeah, we can't. I don't have the budget for both, but you have the money, I guess, if you want to do that. I would just say that I'm not aware of another town in Elkhart County that sprays individual residents' property. for
I'm
mosquitoes.
not saying individual residents, I'm saying just the whole town,
Well, that's what.
like we have in the past.
Well, that's the residents, and so you're using taxpayer dollars. We received a lot of things about that area spray, a lot.
I got it last year.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, yeah.
Was it last year or the year before that? Yeah, it was last year.
Last year.
Because we've done that for years and years. I just wanted to know what I need to be telling these.
Well,
People
Mosquito
that
Joe
call me.
apparently is offering $50. He'll come on your property and spray your property. I just got that card today and there's another two for now. What? You need that card? Um, it's ultimately your decision, but if you decide to aerial spray, I mean, you will get inundated with complaints again as well. And we'll be right back spraying and, well, the mosquitoes are gonna be bad all year this year with all this water we're getting. So how often do
Yeah.
you wanna spray? Because
We've
that's
only
just a
sprayed
knockdown.
twice, I think, every year. Right?
Right, but not
This
every year
year's
spray like
early,
this. Last year we sprayed once. I think.
Mhm.
So can we do this?
Okay, I was just wondering. I need to know.
Can we put something on our new app that promotes Mosquito Joe for residential?
I don't,
I don't think I can promote a business. If you want to,
Yeah, we
Tell
can.
Marcia.
haven't you done your own property as well? Have you hired somebody, Jeff? Did
No.
you tell me once? Yeah.
No, but I think we will.
It's gonna be bad this year.
Well, it's already bad.
Yeah.
It's already bad. There's nothing, my whole porch is covered with mayflies that are shedding. And these crazy little long moth type things. I don't know what those are.
The aerial spray took care of mayflies?
Uh-huh.
They killed off a lot of things.
Mayflies develop into
It killed off
mosquitoes.
everything.
Mayflies lay
No,
mosquito eggs.
there's an insecticide. I don't-
They'll go away in June, Ken.
I didn't know it was labeled for that, but anyways.
Well, I did, because I remember down at where the 7-Eleven used to be, that every evening, it was like a big fog there of nothing
Oh,
but
yeah.
mayflies, and
They're
you'd
horrible.
walk on the parking lot and it would crunch. There were so many, an inch thick all over the ground. And once we started spraying, that stopped.
If you want to.
That's what I was saying.
The private, there's at least two guys out there that we can, I guess. We can,
We just suggest they do it privately rather than
We could
city
do that.
company, just say, if
Yeah.
you're having issues with mosquitoes,
Have Marcia.
private application is more targeted, better.
That's not us.
yeah, there's a
Yeah.
real nuanced way to be able to.
didn't everybody get a card in the mail?
Yeah, I got
from
one.
Mosquito Joe?
I didn't.
When did it come?
Today.
Oh, I didn't check mail.
Well, I didn't check the mail today either.
Was it $50 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That's just a one-time deal,
It was.
and you have to pay more, and honestly, I have the money to do that.
Mosquito
And
beater.
there's a lot of people that are older, and a lot of people that don't have as much money as I have. I'm sorry.
anyway, I just wanted to know what, the total reasoning was behind it.
It's a
Yeah.
dilemma. You're using taxpayer dollars to apply a chemical to private property. And there are people that, first of all, you're not covering everybody in the town limits. You're just covering a segment through here and some outside of town. So you're using tax dollars to apply a chemical that some people, many people don't want.
I remember when I was a kid, we used to follow the deep truck.
I know.
That explains
We
why.
So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what you guys decide to do.
I got hit on that one.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what you guys decide to do.
We used to walk every day.
We did. We used to follow the
We used to
fire
follow the old
department
house.
deep truck
I used
going
to-
down the streets.
I
It was
used to follow the fire. I did the same thing to new parents. You get my
See?
bike and chase it around town.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You're
okay.
gonna get complaints
Yeah.
both ways,
Yeah.
and, what we did is really a nice, cost-effective thing for the public parks and the cemetery.
I was curious to see how it works out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair. We can give it a shot. We'll do at least one more application in 3 weeks. But I suspect it's not going to kill mosquitoes out in the subdivision areas. There's too many other breeding grounds.
Yeah, there are a lot of breeding grounds. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
But if we do an aerial spray today, 3 weeks, you're gonna have a new breed.
I
New breed.
understand that.
And
Yeah,
then 3 weeks later, and first thing you know, you got $24,000-$30,000
I
area
agree.
spraying.
I agree. I'm just,
So if
I
everybody
didn't
would
even know
do,
we were going to do that.
everybody would do their own with the residual, I think we might get a better,
Okay,
I think.
Okay,
any more, do we discuss any more of this?
no,
Okay. Anybody have anything else for Mike?
Nope.
Okay, let's move on. Clerk treasurer, Jill, what do you have tonight?
The first thing on the agenda is Kathy earlier this year with our firework vendor. They could pass out calendars. She submitted in Town of Bristol $1,000. So really cool. So they gave us two options. One, we can take $1,000 and apply it to our balance for this coming year, or we could add $1,000 to the show. And Kathy had a really good point. I think she shared with all of you. We increased it last year, our fireworks show. Is $1,000 really going to give us, she calls it oohs and ahs? Or do we want to take $1,000 and apply it to our balance?
Chuck Feldman would be able to tell you that. You
I'd
know,
say we
I
apply
mean,
it to the bank.
yeah, he would know exactly what
It's a big show.
$1,000 of fireworks would buy. I mean,
Valid, but I don't know if that's something you guys want to do, if you want to entertain that thought or apply it.
Either way,
$1,000 credit would be good for me.
I'm in favor of the credit.
I think the credit would be best.
Okay, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion, we accept the credit towards the fireworks display for homecoming 24.
Okay, motion by Dean,
I'll second that.
second by Doug, open for discussion. No further discussion, take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Dean Renfro.
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes,
Greg Dolsky.
Yes.
And Jeff Beach is yes. Motion carries.
cool. So how did we win?
Huh?
How come we won? Well, I mean, what did we do to win it?
So they give out a calendar every year, and
Yeah.
on this year's calendar, I guess there was QR codes to submit. I don't know, she didn't go in great detail. So she submitted the town for it and $1,000. I don't know if it was firework display, the years we've been with them. I don't really know in great detail, but I thought a good job.
I was just curious.
Road we built for them.
Yeah, she didn't go into detail. She just said she scanned the QR code, submitted, and won.
That was a nice.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll have to ask her.
Yeah,
On our.
Okay, what's next, Jill?
The next thing we have is the second reading for ordinance 516, 2024, 11 for the additional appropriations. Kathy went ahead and got it advertised. We're just asking, do we list each fund and the dollar amounts?
Okay. Public
So-
meeting?
Correct.
Okay. So at this time, we will open up a public meeting to hear any questions or concerns regarding the adoption. It'll be on final, tonight will be final reading.
Correct.
Okay. Final reading for ordinance number 5-16-2024-11 for an additional appropriation of $575,440. Is there anybody in the room that would like to make public comment at this time?
Jeff, can you scroll it down so the audience can see?
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
There we go.
Thank you.
Any questions or concerns from the public? Okay, hearing none, we will close the public hearing at this point. Next would be a motion to approve on second and final reading for the ordinance. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve on second and final reading ordinance number 516-2024-11.
Okay, motion by Kathy,
I'll second.
second by Greg, open for discussion. No further discussion, we'll take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Dean Renfro,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes,
Greg Dolsky.
Yes.
And Jeff Beach is yes, motion carries.
Thank you, council. The last item I have tonight is an amendment to the salary ordinance. I don't get to say this often, but I've been in the audience. So we are gonna ask to, what's the proper term? Suspend the first reading and approve on the second. This evening, we have hired a seasonal street department employee. And with that being said, We had the hourly rate at 15, and we're increasing it, asking the council to approve the increase to $18 an hour. Then there was a few errors in the positions. Our utility employee, we needed to rename it as superintendent. Same thing for our street department. There was some other, I think, one of our employees, which is full-time, was labeled as part-time error.
Was listed as part, I was
Yeah.
gonna ask that question, why is she part-time?
Yeah, I don't know, somehow it got
Well, so does Tim.
overlooked.
Tim was
Well,
listed as
we've
part-time.
increased him to full-time now.
Since he's
The
super-
title, yes. And then, we have also added a new employee. Mike, do you want me to touch on that real fast?
We'll touch on, letter D.
Okay, but that's the position as well we have added for the new hire, starting tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
I didn't know how much detail you wanted me to go into, so. And that's the amendments to the salary ordinance.
Okay. So is there a motion to suspend the rules?
Just a note on the content of the ordinance, just from a clarification. Page, it's like 26 of the agenda, I guess it's page 11 of the ordinance. There's a highlighted section there. I think it's just identifying non-conformity between numbers. But because it deals with how PLT days are described, I think that we may take this as an opportunity to make sure that it's accurately reflected. So go down to page.
11.
Maybe it's
It says will receive 4, and then it says 5
Correct.
in parentheses.
Right there.
Okay,
So just a text amendment here to make sure that the ordinance accurately states how many PLT days town employees are receiving.
okay.
Is that because when we approved the 5th day, only 4 could carry over? Is that
We only approved 4 carryovers. 32 hours carryover.
Yeah, I think it may just be a typographical error.
From what I'm reading, I agree with that. That's not the carrying over, that's the initial days that they will receive January 1st of every year.
So is 5 the correct number?
No, 4 is.
Yeah, we increased it to 5.
No.
but then
5
we
is the
kept it-
correct number.
And you only carry 4.
You can only carry
Yeah,
30.
this is actually saying all of the employees will receive 5 on January. So I don't know what the next sentence is, but
Yeah, you can only carry 32 over.
yes, only carry 32 hours.
Okay,
So it looks like the numerical was changed and not the wording itself.
Should say 5.
Mhm.
Did you catch it?
Yeah, I found the highlighted part. Somebody else highlighted.
I wish I could take credit, but it's probably Kathy. I did not notice
Technically, they could
it
have 9, they could have 9 days. in
on the
a year.
books.
Mhm.
Correct,
Yeah.
on the
Okay.
books.
So I think an oral amendment to say the text is to state that that's 5 PLT days would be sufficient of the council, and then we can move on to addressing the procedural aspect and adopting.
okay, and then eventually correct it.
I make a
Before-
motion, we correct the ordinance wording on page 11, where it says we'll receive 4 parentheses 5 to. I'm confused.
2-5.
Five.
Five.
Parents.
5 parentheses 5.
Right.
There we go.
Okay, a motion by Kathy to correct the salary ordinance. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Doug. Open for discussion. Okay, no further discussion. Take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Dean Reinfro,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes.
Greg Dolsky.
Yes.
And John Peach is yes. Motion carries.
All right, so now the amended motion, the amended ordinance is before the council to adopt on a first reading. The motion would be to adopt, to forego first reading and adopt on second reading. That's the appropriate motion, and that has to be a unanimous vote of the council.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve to pass on first reading and approve on second? with unanimous vote from the council. I will make that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Jeff, second by Dean, open for discussion. Further discussion, we'll take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Dean Renfro,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes,
Greg Dolsky.
Yes.
And Jeff Peach, yes.
And our motion is to adopt and enact on first reading the ordinance as amended.
Okay. Is there a motion to adopt the amended ordinance on pass on first and approve on second
as amended.
as amended?
I make that motion.
Okay, motion by Kathy,
I'll second.
second by Greg. Vote for discussion. No further discussion. We'll take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Dean Renfro.
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes,
Greg Dolsky.
Yes.
And Jeff Peach, yes. Motion carries.
Thank you.
That was a lot of work.
Thank you for indulging the parliamentary procedure on that.
We're
Absolutely.
gonna become pros at this. Thank you, council. I will make that change for the personal time as well then.
Okay. All right. Any questions for Jill? Okay, if not, Mike, what do you have for us tonight?
Okay, thank you, council. I'm gonna do the April board report quickly. Traffic enforcement, 27 citations, 33 warnings, 317 calls for service, 196 calls, 6 property damage accidents, no personal injury, no fatals, 1 who decided not to stay, and then 28 cases taken with 1 closed by arrest. We had 3 drug and paraphernalia charges and 2 vehicles that were tagged. You can see the number of vehicles that were impounded. And I'll kind of address that a little bit with Randy, and then you can see the criminal enforcement that we have there. As I jump over to Randy's section, looking at code enforcement, as you know, this time of year starts to get busy for him. In April, he had 21 sign and devices. He has been really, again, this spring, trying to clean up people who are improperly posting all kinds of signs on property that they shouldn't be on, poles and so forth. So he's pretty aggressive about that. And I'll be honest with you, it does look better.
It does.
It cleans up the community. It's not always a popular thing with the people who think they should put their signs on there, but it's appreciated. 18 illegal parkings, and then high grass is just gonna continue as this rain, and so I know he kind of struggles with that one, and we all do, because it's even hard to keep up in your yard when you're trying.
Yeah.
So we understand that, so I think that's something that he's aware of as well. And Randy's black and white, but he does have a little gray sometimes. Another thing I want to, and so those are basically A, B, and C. I'm going to go to D, which is staff changes. I am very pleased to announce that we're able to get one of our past employees back. Nick Russo left us to go to Florida for family commitments. He wanted to be with his family. I got wind that Nick was not completely happy down there for many reasons. He was moving back to the area. So I reached out to Nick and we were able to secure Nick. It was competitive, I'll be honest with you. We competed with another agency and we had to be competitive. It was important to us to be competitive. You need Nick in this community. I'm just going to tell you, he is a great asset to this organization. So Nick will be starting tomorrow as a detective. He is going to be filling the role of detective. Nick has a passion. He's always wanted to be a detective. He got some training while he was down in Florida. We're going to put him in that detective role that's going to afford him the opportunity to learn. So I just really look forward to having Nick in. He'll be in tomorrow, so Jill's aware. We'll onboard him and go from there. The other change that today happened, which will be effective June 1st, is Dustin Lundgren was promoted to lieutenant. He was a sergeant at the time. We need some structural change inside of the police department. So Dustin has been promoted to a lieutenant's position. I know not all of you are familiar with the rankings in police departments, but the bottom line is because there is the marshal's position, there is a chief deputy's position, which is open or vacant. And then there are 2 sergeants right now and a corporal. A lieutenant puts the ranking above the sergeant. So now we have somebody above the sergeant. So we've got a lieutenant, sergeant, and a corporal. So it just helps the rank structure. And lastly, I do want to say this in kind of in regards to chickens and so forth. When you don't raise your own chickens, it's just like, it's kind of like the commodities that you buy in a store. There's an expiration on every commodity. So what I'm going to do is pass out to each one of you going down the line, the expiration of my Galvin. My expiration date is here. I have expired. So what I want to do is kind of just do a reflection. What's that?
You're breathing, that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a very good thing. And I'll even say this. I have the same number of polls that I started this career with, which in this profession is sometimes not always the case. So what I want to say, and I'm going to reflect back a little bit on some of the time I've had, it's very interestingly enough, I sit in this room, right underneath that window, right there, 30 years ago. Mike Swallow said, hey, you want to be a police officer? And I said, not a chance. Right there. And so I said, not a chance. I'm in business, I'm enjoying what I do. And then we started to talk more. And so in November of 1995, I came on as a reserve officer here. In October of 1997, he had convinced me that, yeah, you could probably do this. It's going to be more fun than what you're doing. And so I came on full time at that time. I want to thank the present and past councils for the many opportunities that I shared with this community. My dedication to public service in this community has included raising almost 1,100 elementary students through our DARE program. Something I'm tremendously proud of. It was just probably, when I look back, I go, that was probably the highlight of my career, is those children. It's phenomenal to think that 1,100 kids went through that program, and this is a 1,600 rooftop community. I mean, it's just amazing. So I'm very proud of that. One of the things that it is what it is. I'm proud of this from an investigative perspective. We had a heinous murder many years ago. Sheena Kiska was killed by Tyrese Halliburton in the apartments out here. It unfortunately took 4 years to solve a case that they said would never be solved. And the detectives from the sheriff's department said, not a chance you'll ever solve this. We proved him wrong. We proved him wrong. We got a life without parole conviction. He still sits in prison. I've considered just going back to see if he would tell me something else. Maybe the days will afford him. So we'll see. But we were able to solve that and put him in prison for the rest of his life with no chance of parole. For 15 years, I served as a detective and the chief deputy. What was really cool about that is we had some major white collar crimes and some computer crimes here. We don't have that stuff so much anymore. There was a major embezzlement case from a company here that I was able to work, and another one that didn't get prosecuted that I actually worked for over a year. So some phenomenal experiences I've had in that. I'll just say this, managing our staff, the patrol staff, or not patrol, but the command staff has been an extreme stress for me in the changing climates of law enforcement. There's just a lot going on in this country, and it's just been extremely difficult. Staffing shortages and diminishing wages have caused other issues there. And so, I think what I want to say is really, Jeff says thank you every time at the end of these meetings. Man, I appreciate it. Now, it doesn't always get passed to the guys, but I say this after 27 years. I'm going to get a little emotional. I don't mean to. We carry a lot of scars. I've seen more deaths, suicides, and horrendous things in this community. Motorcycle crashes, vehicle crashes, and the hardest for me was child sexual abuse cases. Goes on. We carry that. It's difficult. This is a tough career. And even in a small community, when you connect with the people, it's hard. So what I'm going to say from that perspective is, please take care of your people, your public servants. They need it. They need it bad. It's not just the emotional scars, it's everything. I've got a good friend, his name is Sergeant Bernie. His real name is Bernie Hogenkamp, who is retired from the Thompsonville PD in Illinois. I reached out to him and said, hey, Bernie, here's what I'm thinking. We talked. Bernie retired 2 years ago after 25 years of service with Thompsonville PD. He gets $73,000 every year in retirement for the rest of his life, and his wife gets half of it after he passes. We have got to take care of our people. We have to. So just think of those things as you're passing, or this torch gets passed. I do want you to know, interestingly enough, and Jill can correct me if I'm wrong, this is something that I kind of, as I was thinking through this, with 27 years of police service here, I'm the longest tenured police employee. The town has had longer employees, but nobody stayed in the police department this long. It is what it is. So what I say is, for the infinite relay of life, every torch must be passed. I'm extremely proud of the accomplishments that I've had here. I've had hundreds of public relations events, hundreds of criminal arrests. And then when you look in my file, and Mike Swallow can attest to this, I've never had a discipline issue. I've never had a consultation for improper service or improper behavior. I'm extremely proud of that. The challenges in 27 years have been tremendous, but I say this, I have enjoyed the majority of them, and I was so glad to be a part of this community for 27 years. As I think back, at age 54, half of my life has been spent here. So I've had a considerable amount of time here. So what I want to tell you is I wish all of you in this community the absolute best. This is a fabulous community. Our law enforcement takes it for granted how good we have it here. We have bad people here. We have drugs. We have those things, but we have a community that is embracing us, and they need to recognize that. So without trying to shed too many more tears, I'll miss this community immensely. I'm very proud to be part of Bristol, Indiana for all the years I have. And I'll say this, I am tainted, I am scarred. I probably am gonna get out of the profession. It's time. It's time. And when you do that number of years, you don't leave untouched. So with that, I wish we could end on a better note, but my note is my expiration date has come and it's time for me to move on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Kurt. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You will be there?
Thank you.
Mike, I do want to say something.
I miss it. Guys, don't make, it's hard. You don't know how personal I am.
No, but what I want to tell you is something very good that you did this week. My granddaughter got a job
Thank you. Awesome.
at Elkhart County Dispatch with your recommendation.
Thank you.
And she greatly appreciates that. And that's just another outreach that you've done.
Well, I warned her.
Yeah.
I warned her.
She told me,
I tried. This is a very difficult career.
and she understands that.
I know. I tried.
Yeah, she said you did. She said you did.
So thank you.
Well, I want to thank you, Mike, because I know this is a tough decision. And I appreciate what you've done for this community, for this town. How you've kept our residents safe, how you've protected them. You know, we go back longer than 27 years. We went to school together, so we've known each other a long time.
Yes, did.
Yeah, we went to high school together.
You guys used to shoe horses together?
We were both at Fairfield High School.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. So,
Don't ask them what they did.
yeah,
I'm not gonna ask what they did.
Please,
No.
please don't.
yeah. So I know, I know this is it's a bittersweet, right? But I know that a lot of the stress that you've been under lately is, and talking with you, I know it's gonna be relieved, so. That's the sweet part. The bitter part is we don't get to see you around here anymore, but thank you again. So. And with that, as always, I just pray that you stay safe and that your officers stay safe, and thank you for all you've done for us.
And I remember when you started the DARE program. And you were so excited about the DARE program. And the kids. After the DARE program, the kids would come, now not many towns have this. The kids would come to the police department just to see the officers. And have a good time.
Yeah.
You don't see that in many communities.
Right.
And that's what they were so excited, not just by police enforcement, but friends. They made friends.
We've taken our criminals and done community service with them and made friends.
Yeah,
That's what this job was about.
Yeah.
It used to be that.
It used to be. Now it's a whole lot different.
So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Chief Cantz.
Good evening. Responded to 78 emergency calls in April, 353 responses, still just short that one person, full-time person anyway. We're looking to do a picture fundraiser, as we've done in the past. This year will be probably done a little different. It will be a mail-in type thing. I'll have more details when that comes to public and we get all the details ironed out. We do want to remind our community to please be mindful when they're cleaning up their property. It is illegal to burn non-organic materials. You can't go out and burn your garbage. You just can't do it. Don't be mad at us when we come and put it out, because it's gonna happen. That note, that's all my report now. I do want to say, thanks, Mark Loudon, for all the years we've been around this town, a long time together. I've always been jealous of your hair.
It's leaving me. It's leaving fast.
But it's been an honor to work with you alongside you. Appreciate everything you did for us.
Thank you, and all I can say is this community has come a long ways with our fire department and our police department. Didn't used to be. Still have a ways to go, but it definitely is
Got a
better.
lot better.
Yeah, the bond you guys have built over the last 5 years has been tremendous.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I appreciate you guys working together to make it better.
It doesn't help that one of the firefighters married one of my police officers, but. Well,
All right, any questions for Chief Gantz?
Nope.
Okay, if not, thank you for the service you provide to us and pray that you and your staff stay safe as well.
Thank
Okay. Park Board, Ms. Linda, what do you have for us tonight?
Well, we had a good meeting last Tuesday, and Eric was here, and he's, what is his title? He's the supervisor of all the street departments and grounds or whatever. And so he came, and it was nice to talk to him, to be able to talk different things out and to let him know what our thinking is and where we're going and what he's thinking. And so, we talked about playground equipment orders, and he had gone out and done a lot of research and stuff, and we found, so what we're planning on doing is putting all the old rails out and putting the surrounds around them.
Plastic
all
borders.
about Borders about 12 inches high. We're gonna put 3 ADA ramps so that they can get into these places, and we're also gonna be getting more mulch in them. So they'll all be coordinating. So I think you'll see a big difference there. Talking about Tonkin Park, we didn't hear back from Monogram about whether they would be interested in helping with the electric, so that's probably not gonna happen. Putting the electric on this side of the walking path down there. So that could be for another time, but it's not gonna happen this year. Eric was really enthusiastic about making the parking lot down in Condon Park a little more defined. And so we're gonna rip out all those bad poles that are in there. And we talked about putting like a rail fence around it. So he's going to look into that some more, get us costs and that type of thing, so it will be defined. And we were telling him it would need to have an opening halfway down the longer part of it, so that people could get through in the middle to get into the park instead of having to go to the far ends. If he did have like a fencing, but anyway, so that's what's going on in Condon Park. He's also gonna take a look at the fishing pier, make sure that that's in good working condition. So, and possibly to see if it needs to be painted. Cummings Park, the elliptical machine is now fixed, and Eric did that. And Scott, we told him that he has the name of a person that has bought the actual business of all of our exercise equipment down there. He's bought that kind of service contract for us, and so he can help with any servicing that needs to be done for our exercise equipment. And Scott wanted to talk to him about expanding the parking down on the west side, down by the pickleball courts. We talked about that there's a lot of land there that we found that we have that it belongs to the park, and so he's gonna look into that. And we didn't talk about that Goshen bench. Goshen is wanting to do this bench of exercise. Ideas around the bench. If you're gonna walk around that walking path down there. So that's pretty much with cons, and then with permits. Down in permits are, we're still waiting for our permit now. We don't have to go through all this jumping around about a floodplain, this and that and all that, but we're just actually waiting for the permit. 5-year plan, Andy did put a survey, I don't know if you saw it out on Facebook, about what you would like to, he asked for input from people and gave them kind of a survey, whether you would like to have like playground equipment, what type, merry-go-round, seesaws, whatever. So if you haven't seen that, go out and take a look at that and respond to that if you could. Let's see, picnic tables, we're spending $6,000 on picnic tables. So,
Or which park?
How many?
Park?
How many did that get us?
I gave Eric a website that's got interesting concept for picnic tables, and then 2 catalogs filled with options for picnic tables.
Okay.
They're around $1,000, 1,000 to 1,100. So I think we've got a
80
couple.
ones or a little bit more, but
Yeah, 100 even.
Yeah.
They're about 1,300 for the ADAs.
that's not.
Okay.
Anything, any questions, anybody?
Any questions for Linda?
Suggestions?
I talked,
Sorry, go ahead.
I talked to Eric yesterday about, talking about picnic table we talked about last year.
Mhm.
And I suggested to him, looking at where we put in, back in the 80s, we put in those brick bench spots that kind of serve their purpose. They're getting old and dilapidated. I suggested that'd be a good place to put at least 2 picnic tables, take those out, and that way you can sit right and look at the river.
Yeah.
Right there on the east side of the,
With keeping in mind the homecoming and their big trailers and all that coming in too, so just have to watch where we put them. They need to be tied down.
that's what
In the
Eric and I
river.
talked about. You had to pour some pads there.
We don't want them in the river, we don't want them running off homecoming.
Well, I'm running off of those. We don't have any place to put them.
They're doing food trucks this year.
Oh, should we?
Yes,
Should we?
yes.
I always like
As
this.
long as they get some consistency, that was the biggest problem. People would go down there and they weren't there, then they wouldn't come back.
That all has to do with income. They gotta make
The, what's his name, the guy from,
Lupus?
Lupus, he was there almost every time.
Yeah.
He
But
was.
he's opening a place in Goshen, so I don't know what that's gonna affect him.
So yeah, if we want to entertain that, I don't know, lunchtime, some people liked more of a dinner option, so it was sort of like everything, but yeah, we can entertain it.
I just thought with the picnic tables, it was a cool thing. I enjoyed going down there when I could make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you gonna do it like a first Friday?
I sort of just opened it up for every Friday and I let the food truck sign up for what Friday they could do. Because if they're able to come, then we could enter, and then I just threw out like the, whatever marketing we had for that week and what food trucks on Facebook to try to help advertise for them. But if we want to focus on maybe just one Friday a month,
I was just thinking sometimes if you do it like one specific day a month, then people's profits would be better than, dragging it out. You don't know who's gonna be there and who's not.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He sold out every time.
Yeah.
He sold out every single time he was down there.
But that's just one.
Right.
event.
So would we like go weekly or maybe once a month?
That's, I'm just,
I'm not here.
that's a suggestion.
I'm eating somewhere else. I'll enjoy one of you.
Yeah,
But
let's figure out a plan for him. It'd be nice to have him.
Yep.
Yep,
I'll work on that.
okay. All right, next item. Alex, what do you have for us? Anything?
Just a note for the minutes, the sewer and water bonds are coming up on a pre-closing at the end of the month and are anticipated to close the middle of June.
Okay.
I hate to tell you, Jeff, a couple of things that need your signature. Do that, let the record reflect motions to large folder.
Get a hand cramp already.
It's,
Wait, I gotta stand.
so there are some pieces of that puzzle that are still coming together, but at this point, we don't foresee there to be any impediments that will
Okay,
stop that process.
okay.
So that's the update there. Otherwise, happy to answer any questions anybody has.
Thank you. Anybody have questions for Alex?
You might note the appointment of the appraisers on the property.
Yes, the court, this is in the pending eminent domain action. The court appointed 3 appraisers, middle of last week, and I spacing on the gentleman's name, but I don't think they didn't raise any objection to the names that were put, and I think, I don't, were you familiar with any of the 3?
One, Phil
Phil
Hall.
Hahn.
Okay.
The other 2 did know, but
I didn't know those either, but I know Phil.
So and there's nothing privileged about this process. This is part of the court's record. This is an order that the court issued. Those appraisers will be sworn in June 2nd. So the court will bring them before the court, swear them in, give them instructions on how to value the property, and then the reports are due back to the court by July 8th. So again, that's all public record. Nothing's happened in the interim. It will probably be quiet until that point in time. And then, once we have the appraisal reports in hand, we can meet again in executive session and discuss the next path forward.
Okay. Okay, thanks for that update. All right, next item, new business, nothing under new business. Okay, number 15, privilege of the floor. At this time, we'll open up the floor for public comment. Is there anybody in the room that would like to make public comment?
He's afraid to.
She's not afraid to get up and speak. I know that. Actually does.
Yeah.
Okay, seeing no public comment, we will close the floor. Next item, town council discussion items. Doug, what do you have for us?
Nothing tonight.
Okay, Dean?
Nope.
Anything? Kathy?
No.
Greg?
No.
I have nothing else other than, again, Michael, thank you for your service. Greatly appreciate it. It's been an honor to work with you. All right, next meeting, May 21st, 7 PM. We have an RDC meeting where we talk about the comprehensive plan. June 6th, 6:30 RDC annual meeting. June 6th, 7 PM council meeting. And with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Greg, second by Kathy, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.